Hey y'all, it's Crystal. Thanks so much for stopping in. Today, it's another TBR. I know I've gone TBR crazy, but that's okay. Look, y'all, I enjoy reading events. I really do. I'm a joiner. If something sounds fun, I want to do it. I just have to accept this about myself. um, I've said before, our day to day life can be really hard and stressful. This kind of stuff gives me things to look forward to and makes me happy. So yeah, and I definitely wanted to join in on this because this is the sort of new events for Indie Accords. So Indie Accords was a readathon that's usually just a month long, where that to really just promote reading independent and self-published authors. Of course, the brainchild of Lana over at Lore and Lullabies. I'll link her below. Her channel's amazing. She needs more subscribers. Why aren't you watching? You need to subscribe. And and she's got this great Discord that she has set up too with some other folks that are helping her out. But they wanted to kind of up the ante, I think, for Indie Accords, and so they started doing, they're going to start from here moving forward, these sort of like quarterly challenges. And so this will be the first one, and it's going to be from September to December, which is a little more than a quarter, but they're giving an extra month since it's the first one, just to, I guess, to kind of work out any kinks that may pop up. So this is kind of, like I said, it's going to be starting in September and moving all the way to December. And there are different paths. They're called pathways. They call them paths that you can take around some themed reading genres that you can choose, and work your way down the path and all that kind of good stuff. So there's a path of the mage. So if you're more of a fantasy type reader, those prompts are for you. There's paths of the heart. So if you're more of a romance reader, that path can be for you. There's path of the path of the stars. I can't remember now, but more of us leaning towards sci-fi. And then there's, of course, what I chose, which is path of the dark, because that is me. So each pathway that you take has six prompts. So 6 in over 4 months. It's definitely going to be easy to do, I think. And I really want to support this, and I love reading indie authors, particularly indie horror. So this is right up my alley. And so yeah. So let's talk about what I'm going to be planning to read for this first round. And again, I've chose the Path of the Dark because, of course, I did. And yeah, so let's go through the prompts that they have for that. So first one is to read something about the supernatural or the undead. And I was already planning on reading Benny Rose, the Cannibal King in October, because this takes place at Halloween. So but this is sort of, Benny Rose is kind of an urban legend of this town, and I think some kids try to kind of pull a Benny Rose themed prank, and I think they get more than they bargained for from our dear Benny Rose. So this is from Unnerving Press, so a small independent press. And I'm excited to get caught up. This is part of the Rewinder Die series too. This is actually number 3. I've read a couple of those, and they've all been just a lot of fun. I expect this one to be a lot of fun too. And yeah, so great. So it could also work for probably a couple of the other prompts too. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to this. Will be the last of my backlist books for Haley Piper that I need to read to be caught up with her. So yay. Okay. And so number 2 is to read a book with a black and red cover, and I think this could probably work for that too. So just if you need some assistance finding some things. But I am going to dive into To Offer Her Pleasure by Allie C. And I've been dying to read this since I got it. I don't know why I haven't yet. It could also work for another prompt coming up, which I will mention. So let's just read the back of this because it's nice and short, but to not give too much away. So after the death of his father and his mother after the death of his father and his mother taking off, it becomes clear to Ben that the only thing he can count on is no one to count on. Until he finds the book, one that calls forth a shadowy horned figure. She comes with unexpected gifts and the comfort of a dependable presence. She asks for very little in return, really. The more Ben offers her, the easier it gets. Sometimes family requires more than a little sacrifice. I think this has like folk horror vibes, and I'm just dying to read it. I think it sounds amazing. So this is not too short or not too long. Get through it quick. This is another one from or Weird Pump Books. They put out good stuff. Okay, the next one is to read something that involves a mystery, and I think this one will fit for that. This is You've Lost a Lot of Blood by Eric Loraca. I believe I don't know too much about this. The back is very vague, and even when I hear people talk, I've watched a couple of reviews, and I think there's like a couple that goes missing, and other things happen. So I think there's a mystery in here. I will see. And this is actually just a self-published book that he put out, and I just haven't read it yet, but I want to. So I'm looking forward to that. And yay! All right, number 1, 2, 3, 4 is a book with a skull on the cover. So this is where you could also, this does have a skull on the cover if you need another recommendation for that. But I will be reading Negative Space in September, so I went ahead and used this for that prompt. There's a skull right there, dead in the middle there. And this is by B.R. Yeager. This is put out by Apocalypse Party. And I don't really know so much about what this is about, other than I really wanted to read it. I'm doing part of the group read for this over on Steve Talks Books. So yeah, I'm just gonna go into it and see where it goes. But I think it's gonna be really good. A little on the chunkier side, but I think it's gonna be great. Okay, next up, number 5 is to read something about a creepy or haunted house. And I am going to finally read The Nightmare Room by Chris Sorensen. This is part of the Messy Man series. This is book 1. I've had this on my Kindle for several years now. I've been wanting to read this. I heard about this, I think first from Rachel over Shades of Orange. She really liked the series. And I've heard a couple other people, talk about it too. So I just want to read it. It sounds like a really good haunted house type of story. As far as I remember, it is, I think a man, I think maybe his father passes away, and so he has to kind of go home. That whole trope. I love when somebody has to go back home. And I think there's like a farmhouse that's possibly haunted. I can't quite remember, but I think it definitely fits the bill for that prompt. Okay, and number 5 is a creature feature. I'm going to read Autumn Gothic for this. From the back of it, it seems like it might work. This is, of course, by Brian Boyer. I love Brian Boyer's work. I still haven't read this one yet, but it seems perfect for October. And so, yeah, I'm really excited. I'm just super excited to read this. Great cover. Also, skull on the cover. Also, a red and black cover. So, works for a few other prompts also, if you don't want to use it for the creature feature. Okay, so in San Francisco, Sierra falls in love with her favorite author. After learning that Vivian Kane grew up in a haunted house, she persuades Vivian to take her to the mansion in West Virginia, where they encounter a savage entity known as the Sorceress of Night. In Los Angeles, Delilah, a celebrated musician, kills humans as sacrifices to the ancient gods of death. When Mark, her guitar player, discovers her evil ways, she gives him 2 choices: leave California or become her next victim. He flees, and then Delilah changes her mind, killing people across America while pursuing him as he travels east. After she tracks him to a mansion in the mountains of West Virginia, monsters, both human and inhuman, collide on Halloween night. So this will, of course, definitely get read in October. And I'm going to do creature feature for this one, even though maybe it has a bit more supernatural vibes. But I think, when it says monsters, both human and inhuman, I'm going to take that as like a creature feature. And I'm gonna make it work. If it ends up just not really fitting, I can always pick up something else. I can always pick up something else because I'll have time, because I'll have through the end of December. But right now I'm gonna plan on this, and we'll kind of go from there. Just another awesome cover. I think this is Dawn Noble, right? Let me just look because it's so good. It really doesn't say. It doesn't matter. Maybe it's in the back, but anyway. And Brian, he self-publishes his books, so yay! Indie Accords, moving up to bigger and awesomer things. So those are my plans. Let me know if you're gonna go down a path. Are you joining in with the path of the dark, or you're gonna choose another path for yourself for these new and I don't say new and improved, but new and awesomer fuck Indie Accords. Of course, I'll link Lana's announcement below. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.